Okay, so this video is for Hannah and Emma, who may and are going to be teaching middle school. And I've just been talking for about 4 minutes and realized I hadn't hit record. That's why I'm backing up. So here's some of my favorites as well as a couple cautionary tales. So here's one by Susan Brumfield, Our Gallant Ship, Cola Voce, lots of good stuff accessible for middle school kids. Old Joe Clark, I wouldn't do this one if I were you, but I included it for a reason. Old Joe Clark is one of the songs that has been deemed to be culturally inappropriate in our modern society. And even though Mary Getzy has wonderful arrangements, there are a number in this pile. I can see another one right there and right there. This piece is not one you'd want to do with your kids unless you were using it as an example of a song that marginalized various oppressed groups. So again, this one I'm not doing anymore, but I do like to keep it around as a cautionary tale. Antonio by Jay Broker. Jay Broker has a lot of great things for equal voicings, SSA, middle school appropriate. This one happens to be a great example of 6/8 figures. So that's a good one if that's what you're working on there. This Playground Tunes is very clever. It puts a whole bunch of different nursery rhymes together into one song. All Slow Shah by Alan Naplin, just gorgeous. It does have one really tricky figure, however. So most of it can be a reader for your kids, at least rhythmically. But when they get to Ahmed Deve Adin, well, that's really tricky. So, Old Dan Tucker, another Susan Brumfield piece. She's always published under Henry Leck, so you can find a lot of good stuff under the Henry Leck stuff from Susan Brumfield. This is her Get Out the Way, Old Dan Tucker, you're too late to get your supper. Here's another Jay Broker one. He did go through a 6/8 phase there for a while. This is his Rizzledy Rozzledy, hey, bombazity, nickety nackety, retrical quality, willaby wallaby, mow, mow, mow. John Feyerabend also has a children's book on that story. This is Siahamba Kukanyen and Quincos. Another thing that I was talking to Hannah about is that, harmony that's in thirds and sixths is very hard to perform accurately for middle school kids. So if you had an 8th grade group or maybe even 8th grade special group, this might be a good one for those kids who are a little bit more advanced. This one gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. It has a descant at the end, and the harmony there is just like I said, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I had 4 brothers over the sea, peri meri dictum domini. This is one of Vijay Singh's pieces. I like this one because it's based on a folk song, but also because it has an opportunity for you to practice pure vowels, but written like you might see them in English, as a great preparation for a piece like Festive Odie. Odie, 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 Christus natus est, so that they have that practice of pure vowels before they get into something that's more difficult like this one. This one also in 6/8 and has some unusual 6/8 figures. Ta-di-da, 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 taki-da, taki-da. Sorry, I'm so hoarse. Many years ago, when I was the executive assistant, the administrator of the Ames Children's Choir program, we had Simon Estes come and sing the solo part for this with the Midwest Midwest Children's Choir Festival. Simon lives out by Rock Creek, so he lives in that 55 and up community there. So who knows, with the right palm greasing, you might be able to get him to come and sing the solo part, or if you had a student teacher that was a great baritone, would work great. This one is another nursery rhyme. This one has a really dramatic and tragic take on Old Mother Hubbard, which is kind of a sad story. She doesn't have any food for her dog. Here's another cautionary tale. Denise Gagne, a couple reasons why you want to stay away from her stuff. Denise Gagne does not sing in appropriate keys for kids. I'm sure I have sent that information to you. If you don't have that, please let me know. This piece is a culturally appropriated piece. One and has been attributed to some First Nations peoples Then they found out that maybe it was actually just composed in the style of First Nations people, which are the native peoples of the Canadian provinces. So you want to stay away from things that are either culturally misappropriated or things that are written in the style by people who are not culture bearers. So there's another cautionary tale there. Doreen Rao has so many wonderful things. This is but one of them, Auld Lang Syne. Most kids are familiar with this melody because of its association with the new year. But so it makes it for an easy teaching piece and some really pretty two-part harmony. Here's a unison piece by J.S. Bach in German. So, bist du bei mir, geh ich mit Freuden. Can be tricky. You can do it in, I have it as unison, I have it in two-part. So either one of those will work. I like it in unison. Sometimes, all the time, singing in unison harder than singing in parts, especially if those parts are well written with appropriate voice leading and a good balance. Oh, this is such a pretty piece. Candles, Candles. Minor, has some dotted rhythms in it, and really nice to do around your holiday concert because it kind of can be, it's not really a religious piece, but it can kind of be reflective of the Hanukkah spirit or also the Christmas spirit because of the candles. Charlottetown. Charlottetown, burning down, goodbye, bye-bye. This is Emily Crocker's version. Like that one a lot. Here's a great example of a piece by Mary Getzi that's just gorgeous. Mary Getzi is a world traveler, and she experienced the culture of, places in Africa, Eastern Europe, etc. She's actually really done the research, and she's put in the work to be arranging things like Russian folk music. So this, I tell you what, this is gorgeous. And if you could get a balalaika player, that would be amazing. If you can't, then the piano part is written in such a way that it mimics the sound of the balalaika. One of my all-time favorite pieces, and I've done this one many times with fifth graders. It's a two-part. It has Swing Low Sweet Chariot, and then it has a partner song that goes with that. Here is Dr. Sylvia Munson's arrangement of America the Beautiful for soprano and alto. And this is going to be true part music. It's not going to be, partner song. It's going to have some rhythmic differences, and it's going to be, like I said, real parts, working in thirds, working in fourths, working in sixths. I don't know what it is about this song because it doesn't have very clever lyrics. It's Uskidar, and it's by Barb Sletto. Most people know her. She's from around here. But it's minor, and it just has got such a neat melody. Uskidar, a mighty city, I walk along the road. I just think it's very catchy. It's one that sticks in your head. Here's Dr. Munson and Dr. Galimo's Battle Hymn of the Republic for two parts. And again, that's true two-part music. Here's Can You Hear Me by Bob Chilcott. A beautiful piece for you to do sign language with. It's just profound how gorgeous it is. Shoe Fly as another one of those cautionary songs. So a shoe fly has been determined to have roots in minstrelsy. So that blackface minstrelsy, which was intended to further marginalize and oppress African Americans after they were freed through the Emancipation Proclamation. So you're going to want to stay away from songs that are on what we call the naughty list in elementary general music. Most people are familiar with this Inscription of Hope piece. It has been purported that this transcription was found inscribed on the walls of a cellar in Cologne, Germany, where Jews were hiding from the Nazis. And as you might guess, it is a really wonderful piece harmonically, a beautiful piece emotionally, and a really great opportunity for kids to understand how reflective music can be of what's happening in culture and history. Turn the World Around by Harry Belafonte. This is a Roger Emerson arrangement. I'm not a huge fan of Roger and his arrangements, but I really do like this one. It's pretty accessible, even though it's crazy rhythmically, crazy with articulation, but a familiar song. So which apparently I've had since September 15th, 2004. Here is American Folk Rhapsody, and this one is by Linda Spavacek. Again, not a huge fan of Spavacek either, but this one I like because it has that get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home, Cindy, Cindy, as one of its melodies, and that's just a great piece for kids. Kids are all over that. It's very appealing. Johnson boys, they went a-courtin', Johnson boys, they couldn't stay. Here's one of Jay's songs that is not a 6/8 piece, and it has some fun rhythms in it like Tommy's and some other fun things that might extend their reading. Here is Mezzotelegrama by Uno Neso, and this is a piece from the Ukraine, Romania, I can't remember. But this person is a culture bearer. So this is not something that, again, was culturally misappropriated. And it's got some fun little like hemiola type figures in it, which is fun. Haida, 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 haida. If your kids are working on tadimis, or if they're working on eighth note rest, this is a great one for that. And it is a Henry Leck piece. Here's one of Mary Getsy's pieces, Pretty Sorrow. It's actually Sayro. Most people say it wrong. It's Sayro. And even when I pulled it out just now, I forgot that it's Sayro. But, such a beautiful reader and such a good one for expressive dynamics. So this one could be 3 parts. You could do it in 2. I've done it in 2 parts before. Here's the Skyboat song. Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Oh, just a neat melody and a very familiar Scottish melody that many kids might know, even if they don't have Scottish heritage. Oh, there's Charlottetown again. Whoops. Real up-and-coming, amazing composer. Andy Beck. He's a real cognitive guy. He's in his head a lot, but boy, his music is just gorgeous. And really appropriate readings. You can see we've got eighth notes. There's every once in a while he has some figure that maybe your 6th graders might not know, like that 8th rest there, but really he's just trying to show you where to take an appropriate breath. So this one is a good reader rhythmically, as is his Firefly piece, which is one of my all-time favorite pieces. So gorgeous. Emma, if you get hired at the middle school, you're going to want to do this one and with LED flashlights because it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Such a good piece. Here's another one of Erlene Rentz's. She'll be coming around the mountain. And I like what she does with folk songs, and she does it in a way that makes sense reading-wise. So as long as kids know toddy toddy instead of takadimi, which is a common mistake, they'll be able to read this one rhythmically at the very least. And again, familiar melody, so it teaches fast and gets to the fun part, which is in the harmony in a hurry. This is another folk song that was turned into an octavo, this time by Michael Scott. Not the Michael Scott from The Office on TV, but there's a gal I'm crazy for, little eyes of Jane. A bit syncopated there, so that's fun for kids too if you're working on syncopation. Chumbara, 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 chum, 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 chum. This one is really nice because it has that descending major scale. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, which is really great. And again, solfege is such an important tool. Remember, if we're not teaching solfege, we're really not teaching kids to read. And we would never be okay with that if we were classroom teachers. So you make sure you're using solfege whenever you can. Ordinary Miracle is from the movie Charlotte's Web, and it was recorded by Sarah McLachlan. It's not that unusual. It's been a while. Everything is beautiful. It's just another ordinary miracle today. The kids are not going to be able to read this one. You're going to have to teach the whole thing by rote, and it has some pretty tricky harmonies at the thirds, so watch out for that too. You can see where we've talked about that a lot, because I've got an arrow in there. Oh, don't forget, part 1s, you have to go up there. Pat Works on the Railway is Ruth Dwyer. Ruth Dwyer has that great book, She wrote with Angie Broker, Educating Young Singers. And she also has a lot of really great choral arrangements. This is one I really like to do because it's minor, and also because it's 6/8, and kids never can get enough practice of 6/8. I have done Siegel Siegel, I don't know, dozens of times with 5th graders. It's really 2-part until it gets to a 3-part partner song at the end. And it is totally accessible for even 5th graders if you've got the time to put in the work to get those harmonies together. Shake the Papaya Down I've done many times with kids. This is another Ruth Dwyer piece. Oh, I'm sorry, Siegel Siegel is a Susan Brumfield. I should have said that. Shake the Papaya, great practice of syncopation. So, ta-dee-dee-ta-ta, 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 ta-dee-dee-ta-ta. You can see we've also got some tenuto markings there, so it's a great time to talk about tenuto. Oh, this piece goes into augmentation at the end, and so does this piece goes into augmentation. So Shake the Papaya and Siegel Siegel, great practice for that. Tonte, this piece was introduced to me by a former teacher over at Parkview Middle School. Her name was Kara. And so much fun. It's a tongue twister. It's en français. And tonte, atilo, te, tatu, tonte, tatu, tonte, atilo, te, tatu, tonte, tatu, tonte, tonte, tatu, tonte, tatu, tonte, tonte, tatu, tonte, tatu, tonte. It has some parts for the kids to slide. It has really a partner song feel here, because while part 1 goes on with Tonte, then part 2 has a la 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 business, and then they go into some antiphonal kind of music here. Tonte, tonte, tatu, tatu, at the top of the next page. So a challenge, but totally workable, and it has some really good practice of that. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, so, ti, so, do, parts in a number of different keys, because it goes up by half step as it goes on. And that brings me to my last piece, which is Dream a Dream. This was for years the signature piece for Dr. Munson's Ames Children's Choirs. They did this on every concert with their oldest group, and they would have the kids go out into the audience and sing directly to someone. I'm getting emotional thinking about it. It's at Robertson Peace. It was kind of a protest piece. So in response to what was going on in Vietnam in the early 70s. And so just beautiful harmony in the thirds in some places, which can be tricky, also some sixths. But at the same time, it has these little antiphonal pieces that are really accessible. I have even done this with 5th graders in the past, in which I only taught the melody for the A sections. And then when we got to this, what is marked here as D, but is really the B section, I taught that as kind of the antiphon. So one part goes do 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 do, that part goes do 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 do. So I've got that suspended harmony there working in my favor. So again, suspended harmony, a really good way to create harmony early before you get to things that are much more complicated, like partner songs, rounds, and eventually singing harmony in the thirds and sixths. All right, so that's it for me, and I'm gonna post this and share it to you. And I hope I didn't talk too fast, but remember, you can always go back and listen to it by and slow it down by changing the settings. I had to talk really fast because I'm running out of time for lunch. Okay, bye.